So, you are all here to prepare for UPSC. So, it's very important that you have the persistence and the determination. Patience. It's not about talent as such. Talent depends over exam. The very example of the hare and tortoise race, it applies here. So it's more of a mental game. It's a mental hurdle. The hurdle, the barriers we have to overcome is more of a mental, physical. So physical, of course, there are. So each one of us has problems, situations we all have. So no one is free of problems. So we all have. But the most important thing is how you overcome that. How you overcome that, and how, despite all the problems you are facing, you rise above it. Me is it my responsibility. So there can't be any one person who is not devoid of all the problems. So despite that, so you are all here to prepare. So it's important you keep that hope, you keep that energy alive. So what we are going to do today is more of a UPSC notification, notification the yauriba singdo noida kai noida not togadage kangadage have the issue. Very first, many of you here are still graduation the pursuit of riba. So graduation, suppose 2022 ki prakhasani hekina labda higher than UPSC. So June 5 to Labni, the notification is going to come out somewhere in the first to second week of February. So once the notification is out, applications are invited, and it's more or less on online. Melanie, general OBC TV free, ST free, SC free, all other reservation categories except for OBC. Fee low. So that's the one thing about notification and application. Eligibility you have to be a graduate, and you should have attained 21 years. 21 they hold in your so Vasandra Boso in Antar, 21 lawyer. Cannot say. History has yet the later. Anyway, so 21 Sugadava and Moigi deadline say kind of August first August the low week of Moigi Chahi Pavase. So August So August tagi ho mani low was it magi chahi se so noida graduation pursuit uba zi ka this 5th semester ka so 5th semester ka se matang chahi gi na thabiya do ni ka like examination gi process storing I do magi result la ka do di 2022 gi prelims ki exam se result la ka do 23 then is na my final result to be set. So those who are going to graduate next year in 2022, you are all eligible provided you have attained the age of 21 years. So see magi basic requirement criteria graduation level final magi age limit 32 because in a general gi. So 32 and OBC EWS most likely they would also be given. OBC in a backward classes in 3 years extra attempt PB about 3 years extra years 32 plus 3 35 tarena my limit the mind ST 35 plus 2 37 later and unlimited attempts. Oh, when you are next to it, then you can be the record breaker that on the 15th attempt you cleared UPS. We will break all records, Guinness Book of Records. Just a joke. 16, 17 rhymes 타락보다 엉뚱보디 파워야 되나 나오더라도 나타. Anyway, jokes apart, so you should try to clear. So why we are all here, graduation low, then Roman Saini is one of the youngest, MBBS youngest means he was one of the topper means but actual rank interview the so anyway, we'll talk about it, but masagi criteria don't like record to be anyway, so this is masagi magi chahigyo and magi eligibility graduation or other so chahigyo and C like record magi wari then koigi syllabus ki hai gadra la the requirements you understand to ba Prelims key requirement means prelims have a so it's a 3-stage exam. 3 stages like the exam. We have the prelims have a so prelims have a then we have the main exam. Then we have the interview. We'll go into the details of what each stage of the exam, each stage of the exam requirements, we'll go into it. But prelims ki basic magi idea it's trying to segregate or filter out the serious aspirants from the non-serious aspirants. The same like Pabo, the same like Pabo, Kambuga, like Pado, Kambu, Haidoki. Prelims ki target ti tasing na like pa ba ani do khaido ga koi phau ching da khappi da na ba masang moi du da khangat na ki concept ni ba si sai so ideally some vacancy magi label to be some 12 times to it may even go to 15 times but ideally 12-13 times of the vacancy go malora ka ni ba so if the amount the vacancy is 700 something but assumption let's say the vacancy is 1,000 so they are going to select something like 12,000 students means prelims they khangat to say so cutoff decider of masing duna ni so cutoff prelims is this is just qualifying the top tower kai ta kyam kana debo this is just qualifying and cutoff I would say topper do not decide to wanate but the last person who is going to get selected he will decide the cutoff 0.5 katam or 0.25 lower so khan galore sigidi because this is just qualifying and the marks won't count. The real mark counting begins from main sagi horoga mark counting to bani. So you have to be very serious about this too. Sigi prelims the test of just nangi factual knowledge to labra and the answer is there in the option. Statement ani piba hum piba. You just have to know whether the statement is true or false. So the combination option. So the answer is there in front of you. You just have to identify what is correct or wrong. So you need to have a wide coverage, prelims coverage to topics. Deep so you should know many topics. We'll talk about the topics, but for now, so factual testing Now coming to the mains the descriptive this is the MCQ part, prelims mains we have the descriptive part where you are supposed to write your own thinking, understanding, views so nangi balance ama laibra issue se understand to bra yai ko question la ko kan da magi suppose for example women empowerment adam hai hi ko ang le episode ke women led development have on to la ko so women empowerment ki concepts or women ki issues something like take for example context ama so your kani UPSC ki standard to MPSC na kitang context wali ko like for example Brexit kung bang jalaga write some maybe 100 words on Brexit kind of ining ba lo iyare na o dia ran ma lo ko chule ro ko da Brexit haga zum ni na India is concerned about the Brexit era, so that's a correct statement. It's going to affect the economy of India. It's also a correct statement. So anyway, so adumana MPSC ki na adumai chaki, but UPSC ki na there will be a context. Main topic havang your any question to the then context havang la kani yai ka. So crime against women and high issues it's a very relevant and very sensitive issue. And crime against women is rising, especially in the urban ghettos, not urban slums. And give your reason or justify or whatever, elucidate something. Critically examine. So question can be in any nature. So there will be a main theme. Crime against women. So there will question context crime. So use urban places, urban ghettos, urban slums. Some chocolate triba so proper settlement so magi theme to the orient so magi understanding so makal economic reasons, political reasons, geographical reasons, resource ki site ki kai wala so do me perspective to pusalaga nangi balance or answer piba mambra yeng ki worry ni ka answer kamai igage khot karage will come to that UPSC or in even we are even conducting the answer higher makeup alternate days answer writing daily answer writing story you can have your answer check, you can improve upon. So this is a must prelims khallaga asai means fazana thage khannawa thage haga the answer writing is a must. So we'll talk about for the tomando now we'll go into the details of this my paper breakup interview with demands again. So this is your analytical, your understanding. Mains will test your understanding, your analytical solution providing nangi capability do criticize though everyone can criticize even Hindu editorial is more or less criticism that's a leader. So criticism is the opinion but as you are aspiring to be a civil servant, you are aspiring to be a part of the administration. So you are supposed to come up with solutions. So what is important is solutions. Criticism do come have never, but solution. You should be a problem solver never. That is the demand. So understand that concept now fine. Interview the factual test of analytical understanding capability, solution providing capability interview ki demands na kaino ha kanda asai na ki personality karamba mission no ha mean approachable oibra namna district amagi administration proper kadini DC or kadini dana district magistrate hai ministry of power will talk about that later but masagi namna DC ama se nangi district amagi administration se nangi makhada lere kadini ba. So just imagine the number of people, the huge number of people your single decision will make. Nangi decision macha khangna mi kya gi life influence to wadagi affect to wadagi have influence to wadagi have. So nang se mi khawam changi dana ba. And then you are required to have that masagi interact wadagi because district DC have say he's a field worker not a field officer ne ma se. Secretariat the pump headquarter ki my officer secretariat ki officer high headquarter ki but district administration the DC the my field grassroots ka direct interact with me ne ma de He should learn, he should know how to assess the situation in the ground, how to assess the mentality or magi like wakalon mayamdo, solution piva, any issue, crisis la mana handle over the district in a mana crisis manager in chief. So like that, do the issue mayam. So me so SIG is the tester of the Dushina, by the way. There are many things which heck nang na interviews the heck may come in higher got sangak padagi hoga heck sangak padagi hoga interview kita heck sang padagi hoga when I say head ying but I don't but the way you carry yourself when an interview dress you should have worn it once or twice before. If you wish to have a haircut, have it some week, 1 week, at least 1 week before. So wear your dress at least once or twice so that you are comfortable in the dress you are wearing or the way you appear. It's important. You should not be uneasy. You should appear to be confident, but not overconfident. You should be comfortable. So the way you carry yourself to the impression number, examiner or interview board members to the 150, so 275 my totals means the totals in us. So this is we'll get into the detail, but interview in a 275 marks my totals. 200 helava, 200 yokshalava, it's considered as a quite good mark. 200 yen, it's a very good mark. Average the functionary is around 180, 170 to 180. Normal performance on the nangi performance. So many am not sana. You will reach around 200, 205 kumba. 200 exemplary performance. So it's a but concepts understand over head gain 160 PPI, 170 PPI, consciously or subconsciously, then the more you open your mouth, you're going to get either plus 10, plus 5, plus 10, plus 5, or you're going to get minus 10, minus 5. Timing, timing, and the way you open your mouth. So communication has it's 30% verbal, 30% communication. 70% of the communication is non-verbal. So it depends a lot on how body language, facial language, how you present your answers. Are you a good listener? It's very important to be a good listener because 99% of the people in this world likes to talk about themselves, about the things they are doing, about their problems. So everyone loves to talk. Only 1% likes to listen. And that 99% loves that 1% talk. There you go. So it's your decision who to become. When you have a group meeting, sometimes it may happen that then last so when the gathering gets over, the reputation you'll have is so anyway, so issue is you have to listen carefully what they say. Response to personality personality check so this is not a factual knowledge test. It's about situation handle. So there may be board members who just keep on pressing. Nang khangdre have a topic to the mana khangbang thopani nang see something like pressure to sulapya khangdre have a topic to the. But aduka the nang khangdre is kind of stress handling capability kyam laige have se ko. Yeah ko. And there will also be members, there will be board members who are quite helpful to you. No one the gyan mousing when them tapi we have to check you. Is listening capability. Because you when you get into the administration, you will have superior officers. You will have masayinangi makhada laigadaba officer layer kaniba. Ani mathak makha je kamaina manage to get yeng manila. Yeah, and how you fit into the role of civil service role, fit in the way you so you have to be confident. Even Masai body language, the Aina nang silaw na hawaga. Silaw the lock you na have see. The hand signs are all different. This is very powerful. Index finger pointer has a authority exercise that we commanding a height negotiation. Because all energy is gathered into this tip and I'm shooting at you. Wow. But this is more like a bit dispersed. Let's see the APO and wow. It means the same thing, all three of them means the same thing, it's going to have the same result, but the perception not command receiving and the labor mean perceived the non-verbal communication and I give you. So when you present your open arm, it shows that you are an honest person, you have nothing to hide. So minor defensive position then if you give body movements and project you are interested. So there are things like this. So that's more or less these are the three stages which you have to go through. Now, issues prelims clear to yoga mains preparation only have your mains preparation should have begun way before pre-preparation. So it can coincide but prelims se naksalaba, like suppose for example June 5 the matang chahi lai exam je huzik tagi from the beginning hotani kitang khuyong na re dana ko. 3 months kumbagi prior, like June the oitar we have May, we have April, March the or February ending, so I said free dedicate or radam neva. And February the nang optional ni GS ni mains ki papers in ethics kumba ni static parts ready the because prelims actually prelims ki result declared it takes something like 30 to 40 days then I don't think better but average the 30 to 40 days. Prelims ka mains ka gilaygador gaps is something like 3 months 20 days plus minus prelims ki result haidorapagi matunda nana laygador gap maximum the thani makai which is a very short duration. See ani sigi gaps idi nana kaida dedicate to gani answer writing practice the dedicate to to improve your answers the fingertip ta layba. We'll have a special dedicated class on how to forgetful or so I'll mold your we'll try to mold the way you approach studying, have the learning process. So maybe when we have time, discuss but this has to be dedicated towards answer writing. Value addition answer to the dedicate to prelims holding ID, optional everything should be, at least the static part should be well prepared by you. Prelims every focus should be on the prelims preparation. Strategies. And then it's a cycle. UPSC ki dum calendar dum thog dum magi fixed date dum la report ni dana ba yai ko adu duna nang strategies e phajana plan out to vi ai If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail and have. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail and have. So you should have a very good strategy. Exact. Subhash Chandra Bose na mana sahi 21 from die then you know magi final first and last attempt na he had just barely some 6 months to prepare. Then he told himself that, oh, this is my timetable, daily routine. Then he told himself that whether I become successful in this exam or I become a failure will depend on whether or not every day I can follow this timetable to the letter or not. I same timetable I chapchana follow to mamtargadi I my pakpado have follow to mamtargadi I my power have never. So it has nothing to do with fate or any other dante I objectify to magi success have a pose mana to objectify to mana check to way about quantifiable or so that is something you have to and then also follow. You have to have a strategy plan. Value addition, current affairs ki update to answer the no points kamina marking that have a strategy now see interview marks means preparation prelims mains mixed or because you never know. Interview lawyer interview head lawyer result prelims so interview result I have to move on for the next year's preparation. So it's a cycle, you have to keep on continuing the cycle. Problem is interview those mains clear to confidence levels it's almost grabs the way up. That's where many of the aspirants make mistake. Dropped over it. But anyway, so you should keep on preparing. So this is the basic cycle of UPSC we have to follow. MPSC ki koragana pojare. No syllabus, everything optional paper like managre na hojikti. So you don't need to make a separate preparation for MPSC anymore. So if you keep on continuing preparing for UPSC through this my strategy, MPSC should be anyway. So Sishima. Now we'll get into the details of Magi peppers in the stages in Viva. Prelims ki oina pepper ani leibuko natra GS paper 1, then we have the CSET pepper 2 na CSET oil. CSET used to be included in determining the cutoff, but since 2015 it has been just qualifying paper. So we have the first paper as the GS paper and we'll have the CSET paper. So both of them are of 200 marks. 200 marks. This mark counts for qualifying mark is not determined. This is just qualifying and qualifying my percentage 33% so there will be something like this will have 80 questions, whereas this will have 100 questions. But this is the actual test cutoff level GS paper this is qualifying paper. The SEEK is the 33%, which is like out of 80 questions, if you are able to, without any negative, any wrong, or unanswered, 27 questions exactly correctly, without any negative, if you are able to answer, then you should clear the exam, or you should clear the CSET paper. But see my preparation like, but see GS paper so you have to read extensively. See syllabus notification the game the syllabus hand the current affairs current issues my list of the table the current issues which are of maybe national importance so more emphasize the recent current affairs to emphasize the issue. So you should keep yourself updated. But more issue, chahi kudingi chahi kya no prepare to rala banina. So update to wama pamina. Ano bahang higher the current affairs to the sutayana. So adugi current affairs ki questions either directly in a trigger indirectly lakto learn in and around 20 plus minus 20 range lakto learn so the upay late. Karang claim to the current affairs but indirectly powder yaw news samagi through the hang Magi issue might will be a separate no magi class some discussion but like current affairs is significance yam lay have if man current affairs yam hung day na khala the su no party current affairs it's going to be relevant in the mains. Complementary the Japanese Prelims that yam kahana current affairs the focus to with dragon means so I don't know current affairs ma'am the mulaxala and means current affairs the exact how many got on a park you know means the scope say I don't know concise enough in a preparation strategy same by yaya Prelims ki kai they have but they know how to say lam wai ko moina luna sem ge na khan gi question 20 mu yar ko ni no ba adu gi wena di basic tagi like for example polity tagi di cham na dum simple da hang na which you can find directly in the Lakshmikan gi like the directly yaw mayam hang is di moina pa da the whole part oi ba gi wa ka ta oi ni ko yeah ko so preparation so current affairs magi si focus lai so cut off se magi sina set to ro ka ni ko yeah, go GS na city qualifying so out of 80 questions if you can 27 questions directly negative on the yaw the kunga magadi city clear ne ba so city no the decide to zero nang speed to matungina but C set you na C the main but C set you na higher gadawa higher gadi under Q and some 25 plus minus question 25 plus hang comprehension have the passage and bitoga question hang bodo lengthy am ohele ko passage on the question on gita the chakale UPSC said and the question which is being asked in comprehension is more of a derivative nang passage to para matung the understanding of la agane kung gadawa question no question SSC ko ba banking ko bagidana question ji kamai to we hangiba question the exactly my passage to the yarn ganiba level can go check banking SSC UPSC na UPSC da ham kadishna sigi question period passage se critical oibra descriptive oibra angela title ma pu haibo bomba ata so the minor derivative and check so adu da issue se adu bomba gidi ko we UPSC na khaliba answer to me khaliba nan khaliba manaram da riya ba na passage na tawla thola gadi farta ni ga maths in exact reasoning is exact so you have to do a mixture ideal attempt say it can be something like around 50 plus minus but 40 the person accuracy one so question so it's up to you this is up to you but the question will be definitely lengthy. Now, coming to the GS paper, so we'll take this off the board. Qualifying 200 mark 80 questions, so exactly without any wrong answer. 27 directly, plus minus negative 33% 1 by third whichever is convenient. So 33 fraction low, so 33% is negative. Question naman ang nalam na kumbaga 0.6 mark kumbaga kini baba tumagi na question namgi magi C sida na 2.5 hoy baba IT question na 2.5 ki magi 33% so something like 0.8 3 gumba ka khini ba magi sona kandra question amount the carry to is 2 mark ba sida na 2.5 so aduni the question na no like but negative marking right MPSC issue negative marking introduced to no ba we scheme of exam the mama 200 questions hanaga maths quiz everything when you laga negative yaw da bi duna no pangkum da khumne now the tara bo disu makhne na ba so that cannot happen here in UPSC now GST da in high level ihan ham je my current affairs to focus to we national importance like issues mein focus to we so significance to current affairs this will be a discussion separate class only yeah second analyze koi gi art culture hai history dai history hai la samjan garge ko history has the low issue ko culture art culture dagi horaga ancient dagi horaga medieval dagi horaga then we have modern India gi dagi horaga low in yoksel de ko monda history has the low issue ko magi so Buddhism not Jainism ki question ani gumba dum lakani compulsorily mains na ko question jina Buddhism Jainism not the architecture gumba sometimes see the architecture lakh but very rarely yeah ko Buddhism ka Jainism ki question ama nisang yorani then paintings gumba folk dances gumba ki da question la ani magi da ko means ki sona kan culture la ko kana architecture gumba da focus to re khara yeah ko then dharma atopa Buddhism Jainism not the Hinduism gi ham yawi Zoroastrianism gumba gi ham yawi not the atopa gumba gi aduma complementary na chakhini ko now adu duma lai so we have the history it says his story ko it doesn't say her story hai ko this is gender bias in ko until and unless you are able to change this as her story women empowerment cannot be said to have taken place ko so work hard for all the feminists of our world our society should work hard to change this as her story that day you can call it as the D-Day for women empowerment until and unless it's all just talks so anyway so history have only then we will have geography history is the difference between prelims and mains history ka khenna pose mains ke world history have among yauri ka we'll talk about it mains ki discuss to apanda but ke the world history yaw deba but it includes ancient medieval yaw deba mains ki history harpo kanda the Indian history ki oina asai middle of 18th century have middle of 18th century the 1750s hai ni ko century di mamang da chapani ko 18th century have mamang ki chama mamang 1800 ki first century have 0 de hoga 99 bago ni na ko so the minor chapani ko middle so battle of Plassey in and around the whole doing ko means ki my syllabus na art and architecture art and culture ki na question to one bang lejare ko yeah ko anyway so see sima ojare adu ko ke the mains no world history am ga so same timeline the 18th century the ki horoga industrial revolution the ki horoga ko so du ki difference am lejare history da sigi geography sida the world history ha resource ko madi yoroi but physical geography sidi world ki ni dana ko when tameba physical geography is the India khatagi wari natena plate tectonics movement like rainfall climate change everything when ma ke the climate to thoi cloud formation world ki physical geography ni na ko so when ma yaw ni so see is the geography yeah ko then we have the polity mainly focus on Indian polity yeah ko polity the la ka the question say maybe sometimes governance ki question la ko yawi ka we have governance ki question la ko yawi then more or less it's based on the constitution ki masai ki magi yawi ba ko part section mayam clause mayam the focus to ga hangba question na anam bo oi ko ma se aduga ziki trend na mo ina question se kharma kai di lai ba comparatively. Yeah, so question part. Then we'll have environment. Also contains maybe ecology, climate change issue, air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution, biodiversity, endangered species. They are no discovery, so everything. And see, say research level general awareness level. Then we'll have economy. Economy is a question basic questions. Basic but just simple basics to study. Then we'll have science and tech. This is the current affairs mainly based on. Then we'll have general science. Under 2021 UNS question like but Hana UNS is a question but under UNS science and tech so C is the in and around around C 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sugar 15 plus minus ki range so loin lakh ni ba magi question sing se ama handaba manga hen yo manga ta da yang kumna thijan biru no ko it doesn't matter much. History is sometimes 20 questions lakh yo kani, geography is sometimes 18 questions lakh yo kani, environment is sometimes 20 edam yo to fill up yo kani, but those are variables you cannot exactly predict. You have to be concerned. What you have to focus is on the overall preparation. Sisima lajare ko. Yeah, sisima magi basic can also ni. So see basic understanding layer matunda. We'll come to the significance of NCERT. Let's understand the pattern first. Prelims ki si lajare ko. Prelims ki si the GS ki cutoff se Mamang ki se can audit but around 90 something, 95 is why the leram do maliko. See, sometimes it can even go to 104. 104 the size that higher and general 104, 105 ki range is a hierarchy to question yam do gana pumdhare na. Some are even suggesting that last book from the ACE but most likely 90 in and around side OBC around 90 side SCST is some 15 marks difference level general so around 75 6 side 80 will be range SCST category but system. Once as a rule, if you avail, once amutang nang prelims ki levels dagi nang ST ki cutoff to the reservation, any reservation ki cutoff to the la chang itar gadi nang finally low we are only nang reservation dugi khatani ko. You can never take the general seat. Understand the position? Okay, ko. General seat any reservation category na low only when man every level to the general cutoff to clear to otherwise he is eligible only for that my reservation category. So gather transfer we will talk about it maybe later in the class or so strategy say decide to observe on a question attempt kya to go the game to read the game have to 80 questions by attempt to bukanda let's say just giving a strategy. So 80 questions attempted see the let's say 20 questions say negative set 21 minutes and answer. We'll make this as 20 to something. So 20 questions ko ma negative set hand grade ba positive na from this 60 questions hoga. The negative amount minus keep this as positive So 80 questions is the positive and 60 questions, so minus the 20 questions example so 60 questions again on a 2 marks 100 questions so 200 na full mark so you have 120 from the see is the number of minus around 13 point something so let's call it 14 higher 14 higher going round figure low. So you get something like 106 which is a very good score. This is a very good score. So it depends. 70 attempt to Wamira, 60 to Wamira, 90, 100 mag direct to Salam Wamira. 80 to Masida 30 land Ragadi Lore. Game over. Matangi Prelims game over. But it also depends on which category you are. See, so it's strategy. I'm talking about general ki magi cannot do nipa. So nangi category. You may have some plus minus here and there, but this is a good score. 80 attempted, you get 20 wrong. But generally, it's 80, 88, 85 to attempt to the 50 in around 48, 49 remaining the line langal liga. Exam precam the confident that Sanger got some mamma and a colleague to get into mamma column they need a saying right away, he got the right away. Key release. So different question the marker key the general canico key UPSC and a final result declared to Rokando and a magi key la canico. Whole process or final merit list interview or a final result declared to Matundo and Marcani. Do know the come here 20 to you want get cut off so around 95 precise the letter and you got 31. So anyway, so this is Psychic Prelims key. Main skill lapokanda. Main skill lapokanda. Main skill lapokanda. How was it when a pepper AB? Pepper A is your general English. This is your Indian language. See syllabus broadly discussed over we'll talk about but first let's get familiar with the syllabus. Syllabus familiar with the preparation to complete because when you read something in the newspaper you have to associate it with the syllabus. In a part, Sigi, Pepper Sigini, mainly mains syllabus related to so this is the general English. The qualifying this is a qualifying paper, 25% Magi qualifying mark. So this is qualifying. Magi qualifying is 33I, but this is not necessary for us because Indian language papers it's a schedule language so schedule number 8 so schedule number 8 schedule language India but you don't need to write Northeast state except for Assam. Except for Assam, you don't need to write this paper. You just need to produce a hailing certificate. Manipur, I hail from the state of Manipur. So you get on to you are exempted. So we don't need to talk about this paper. Then actual mark count of papers in Hori. So we have paper 1. This is your essay paper. Essay paper is divided into 2 sections. Section any kind of section is the philosophical ideology the based question. 4 questions, around 3 to 4 questions will be given here. You have to just choose one. Okay, section A question Mari optional you just have to choose one and write accordingly. Then section B you in a practical actual implementation. Like for example, science and tech information communication technology India economic development example or it can be something like women-led development have a topic the EU have a women-led development have say 2020 budget ki magi official document to the magi footliner and a chain report niba. So you can expect a topic or a question on that line because women empowerment have a term city. It kind of connotes underline meaning that it connotes a kind of negative mindset. Women empowerment the assumption is, the prejudice assumption is women are not empowered. Women has a status below men men meaning already assume presume to so do not they have a women-led development there are lots of capable women. They are much more than qualified to lead the nation, to lead any organization. So women-led development and how is it called? Thinking approach to thought process to worldview to so that is, it can be an essay. So sige marak sida mari to may option ni maram da pick the learning. This is a total series, 300 mark but this is not issue, issue general and accuracy writing letter writing amagi adu curve pisala ni low issue. There is no rocket science here, and we all have studied at least English medium da number lang tamak pangata issue mo face to sige the struggle to using sina koigi magi masagi mamaron da class 11 12 ko tamak palay like we have South India states in even UP Bihar about difficulty problem so see now coming to this essay is the 250 marks so see GS paper main paper ki mark count over guysing low in 250 optional papers paper 250 interview the 275 so essay paper ki 250 se ani thok to my marks so ani sida masagi magi marks se phangak pasi oja ani na kholakani ma se oja ani na kholakani examiner ani na kholakani aduga nangi taseng na nangi mark sheet ta reflect or kodeba marks na ani dugi average yara adu ita di room for masagi subjectivity oja amgi mood to the khotpagi factor lo handare da na yamna Uzana na mono 140 pisha laga to po uzana mut nuai ta na kar na hok ta na la pagi 90 ka pisha la tar ga di head examiner do na mu yeng sala ani ba samna different no ibam thok te na it's not possible something is wrong either the one who is giving 140 is kitam bias or na the one who is giving 90 is wrong so something like nang no the essay travel 120 130 ka amo pirak tar ga di it's understandable ka like one of the mark to the 125 or head examiner depends on it. So see Shima, this is a very important paper which many of us overlook. Paper macham ko adusu question asang by the thought process to so how to write essay will be another topic, another day's topic, answer preparation but see is the paper answer any come nang na kay the way 130 phang re na hayo atopam na 60 ka phang mazu ya ni ko si je period ge do period ne so adugi answer ka mai ge do na discuss to rakini but na sai gi understand to this it's a very score set kat ho ya ba azana score to ho ya ba paper am ko e si se provided you should understand the structure on which you have to build your essay around ngai ko adugi lakini si sima 60 from 140 from 140 from 60 from 80 can grade the GS paper amagi mark the fugat grade GS paper am tha da chap mana re 60 from me to so do malai jare now paper 2 see the paper 2 is the yawish na we call this as GS paper 1 yeah GS paper 1 haina ko e mangon sida yawisna ke yawge na har ko na sai hai ki art and culture ki part ya ko special focus on sai architecture si am to ina hangi ko then maybe some religion so art and culture ki part see is the we hosi art and culture ki do ma yaw bhani then we'll have modern India ko modern India as well as modern world world history ga yaw ba sida but ani mak se kai de ki pai adi my timeline 18th century si sina middle of 18th century have that a common notion hurry ba 18th century had now the middle 18th century have starting from battle of Plassey dagi ne mana haining idudi but si is na 18th century khatang hai ba mana haining is na koi gi industrial revolution horok gi dagi horo sin ma hai se ko so ani si ge minor lai jare history gi section ni ko sina and even ngasai gi mangon da masi bo gi contemporary history ha ga independence phang ma tu isu yaw go syllabus sida post independence ki ma gi part to yaw in go sida evolution laki what changes me so when yaw in go emergency Indira Gandhi na to gi Lal Bahadur Shastri everything adugi parts in the yaw in go so si sima ma gi so history gi main themes the history never but yaw do section in Jago and Haraga we don't have the ancient history we don't have the medieval history see you in a world history in Europe 18th century the gi hover ba have ni ko including industrial revolution now adu do ma lai jai ko history ki part then we have geography world geography si yawi yai ko world geography sida masai extra lai se resource geography na hai ko man okay ko kya ta re physical geography di edom intermix story ba India ki physical so world ki physical so edom mix story di edom high rasi are ba but world ki na resource geography like for example resource location gumba resource location have ni ko industrial location na among GS paper 3 da mula kani ba resource location have ni ko like for example Venezuela gumda koi ke do wi koi thau phangi na mai continental shelf se khang ba samudra gi seashore da sea level da gi kumdha ga land gi extension na koi gi minus sea beach layer na so we have this sea then magi sea ki slope say 1 degree muktam 1 degree to even 25 degree ko we have but 1 degree ko matlab tum yam thien mane if any of you have visited sea beach you would realize that even if you go into the sea for 1 kilometer inside you won't just go beyond this eko yam thien mane magi depth angle do yam thele ba aduna kai do sea se koina continental shelf ko wi ko already continental slope ama ma kitan chepam na mane the continental rise am la ga gak long na ko gi have a same plane and high ko samudra manu yo koina ipa ba ma le man mane it contains ko gi ching ma na koina uri mai na mai manu da le de you all must have watched Aquaman na ta okay there are lots of different structures inside the sea as well but continental shelf se ni ko gi resource me among lai se especially petroleum se ngai ko Bombay hai ga na koi samudra me ai da mai cha la tham ni bi thau sum ni da like for example even South America ki country Venezuela se thau yam puthui ko my continental shelf the newly discovered to gi ba chahi go da significance to India gi da minor question hang ba yawe have ni da ko so geography ki matang da then see part si the paper GS paper 1 si da koi gi kehta hai natural calamities like for example tsunami cyclone gumba wa dum yauri ko hang da mind you paper 3 da di disaster management har kani ba topic se paper 1 da di kai hari natural phenomenon du buni ko apne discuss to is like for example plate tectonics how it creates earthquake have is kai da convergence plate chingji ki convergence ta magi sumaina yo we have koi gi plate tectonic theory have one ko example ni ko in a period hai ko plate tectonics have theory world je koi 7 plates ko divide to we major plates ko there are smaller plates as well so sumaina plate chingji sumaina move to bukan da pal leva section atom mogun to kharga din am tare na ko amma arun badana makha sangani aya badana mathak ta kare na sumaina convergence zone na sumaina hai ni samar to pallal lai re na sumaina Cross minus lock to tension the build or cross minus strain my line scale minus minus compressed over the concept either so other magi rock ki magi bearing capacity do strain bearing capacity do henmangra the long in given this is where we nick push Nepal the nick for the building monumental structure kind of key list convergence zone the lay when you go Eurasian plate go Indian plate as a minor kunda with a palaling and on 9 you get a vision. Yeah, got so Sigumba Masai phenomenon, like for example tsunami have a put say okay, it can happen because of volcanic activity inside or under the Masai ocean floor, sea floor makala kwa. Volcanic eruption at all appear not a landslide kit at the moment the ishing the Tokyo the geek away. So my ishing levels is minor layer of Masay was landslide, so I'm a positive landslide Tokyo kind of got down a space of a vacuum of a creator of my space now. Ishing a doing a pot of got down my kunda give us long of my passion of Kaduina. A do you know ripple of a creator of Kaduina. Yaika. Not a volcanic eruption, there was man took long on coach mana of cotton Hagalama lorry. The Adumeam, the huge smoggy height of water, the Kitanga centimeter, and you whom cook one for Kiva have said. So I can the deal. Sig is the swine of by the swine one when you go. I'm a numsita. The sig is the decided the volume is my Tela drama. Sigi volume was minus C that's a no one up a cam tangalania. 30 meters the tangle is tsunami. So Sigumba phenomenon. So we have a very good tsunami early warning system on the Manikoda, Dan Boyanga. Okay, scientific equipment so we will know some 25 minutes in advance that a tsunami will be approaching 25 city minimum so tsunami will be approaching cyclone developed over satellite so management give questions paper 3 the lakani paper 1 is the lies na actual physical phenomena the base of geography the base of question yeah, this is him. I bet follow the river with high things. Okay. So see that then we have basic static part negotiation. Laying the video labor static part. Yeah, got. Then we have Indian society question yeah, got. Society diversity unity build of the complex issues maybe religious any other issues dealing with the society than about society influence like society seems so and it also talks about society globalization in Indian societies the impact like they can have so Western culture like the term local level term global as well as local level term concept so sigumba impact like eating habit dressing habit change like and even mentally change life ki hectic we about the nuclear family concept like how it affects the whole communities so question so this is GS paper 1 or assignment means paper 2. There you go. Then we have GS paper 3. This is GS paper 2. This is mainly dominated by polity and governance. There you go. Indian polity, constitution ki matang the governance machinery then division of power constitution because it's the independence of judiciary judiciary have executive have we have the legislative legislature have parliament have so more rules the idea administration arms national green tribunal kind of so sigumba setup mayam matang the question. So dominated GS paper 2 is mainly dominated by polity and governance. And then, for example, right to information kind of like report, information, any public key related issue, the government, the information seek to we are in it. See, there is a run my ammo pagali, it's a burden, but we'll talk about this. Paper 2, the RTI issues here, we'll talk about in this paper 2. We'll also talk about it in GS paper 4. Rasulakini, Citizen Charter, and RTI, and a significance like it. RTI is the issues here. A possible question is something like this. RTI is creating a lot of burden on the existing governance structure. Government department official RTI is not RTI handle the world real issue neither. So see Semana way, it's creating a burden on the existing government mechanism, critically examined but seek solution. Example, you go in a page, answer say problem to understand the problem to the magi parts what you should not. It's about giving solution, like a possible solution, out of the box thinking. Creativity is rewarded. Answer the own idea, it is rewarded. Now, solution itself, say RTI, the X power one, because the solution lies in the RTI, Right to Information Act 2005 itself. Information is a burden section 4 of the RTI Act 2005. That the public authority itself should publicly make all the informations, all the public informations in public domain, the easily accessible among the, preferably maybe in a website government department they seek to information, though if it is there already in the website, then your RTI reply can be simply refer to the RTI, refer to our website, government website, hide algorithm. As simple as that. Only because the officials do not wish to disclose information, see burden just talk. So the more transparent we are, the less burden the RTI will put on the existing governance mechanism. Then we have something called polity and reverse is not polity, something like polity and governance. We have something called social justice. Social justice deals with downtrodden, underprivileged mainstream meaningful life or any atrocity to be the justice have concept. So yum ninti jana later yum sabi Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana then toilet pakka toilet sabi scheme Swachh Bharat ki makhada ka. So see social justice ki concept. India had been burdened, this is burden 2012 the World Bank report on that around more than 50% of the Indian population practices open defecation. Finally 2014 the Mahatma Gandhi event 2nd October the Swachh Bharat said long story Gandhiji as the icon. The way icon no so he had this sanitation campaign. Film struggle and Moiki Congress meeting the Uganda public so he's that kind of a person, down to earth. He even went to house inspecting how the toilet conditions are. Even his testimony my experiment with the truth in my life later. In that he writes in details about this, how he visited each home and how many of them were unhygienic or dark places, Horizon sing, horizon hai na koi untouchable sing sida we get a meow. Why my one made another? Sure. Anyway, so this is the syllabus tree. So social justice, how to bring up the level of those underprivileged people. Like for example, we have fair price shops in the subsidized cereals, grains, no comments. So there, but still such things exist. So there is something called targeted public distribution. PDS itself, public distribution system has gone evolution. Sometimes it has also been considered as LPG, the LPG schemes, the direct benefit transfer in a bank account or in a subsidy to have an argument. So this can be a possible question in the exam itself, like PDS system the way market the Pishado in my account, the BPR family sing A, Y family sing to the PB Ragaman market leisure number to buy the bra have a line the question how but issue there is Nasagi Arapa Mafum sing Chingy Kachin Goyas in the Dukan later Mafum the deep problem Tokto. Marketplace later Mafum sing the physical availability of the food grain itself is an issue. So how are you going to justify those Nasagi issues? Pashadu Kata Tazalaga Yaroi have we are still carrying on with this physical distribution of subsidized rice. You should understand. So, Sigumbagi, Matanga questions Kerlani. And then see is the interesting one, the role of civil service in democracy. I plays a significant, very significant role. We'll talk about ethics. Then we have finally international relations. Foreign policy foreign policy Indiana atop neighboring then any country which we are dealing with, which we are trading with, or which we have common interest with, trading partners or so all those countries in the relation question even sometimes prelims question because it's very important. No country can survive on its own. US na ngasi the Arab ki housing. There's a house but tan lady never. Masagi di sung doctor finally it wants to be the only country which have oil. Demand and supply, market is all about demand and supply. But anyway, what do you call it? So shale gas are only going, so we have many other alternative resources, biofuel concept. So this international relations, so there are no permanent enemies, permanent friends in foreign policy. There is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. Border directly open the India is a huge market, second most populous country in the world. So they cannot take the risk of totally going into war with India. But resource like mine airplane, aircraft, warhead, so when a country engages in war, its economy is set back for the last 5 years, 10 years set back away. No one wants to have that. ko China di US they hit now then honorary need ko so this is GS paper 2 GS paper 3 the short the higher the GS paper 3 the yaw is or series in paper 4 higher or we have GS paper 3 the yaw is here aside from the disaster management you concept have high grade and series the yaw is economy section science and tech section even agriculture agriculture mechanization food grains distribution resource distribution industrial location just paper 3 the practical aspect and this is more current affairs related science and tech or disaster management or economy is change or labor so see GS paper 3 then finally your GS paper or paper 5 है GS paper 4 ethics की paper this is the ethics 2013 that introduced to give up significance na karigi introduced to no hierarchy UPSC once test your ngasagi nangi wakalon nangi approach or other how kaita situation handle to ngambagi nangi morality interpersonal skill, emotional intelligence, test example, 1990s, the US did a research. I think it was one of the Ivy League universities, most likely it's Harvard. So they did a research. Some around 10 years to around whose IQ were above 140. Since they won 100 so they keep a track record of how they are progressing. So 15 years, 20 years you don't track their question is whether IQ is the only thing which matter for a person to be successful in a high level. Research, but it turns out that only 5% of the students whose IQ were quite high, they were successful. IQ is not everything. So you are all here. NCERT course. So far we have discussed the syllabus. Optional paper optional paper. So I will have a separate class for how to prepare for optional and this is where my real brainwashing begins for this batch. So, preparations you need to have a positive motivation. Some of you had asked about motivation. Whether he is present or not, last class, previous class, director, we can be the part. But anyway, you need to have a positive attitude on why you wish to clear this exam, why you wish to become an IAS officer or an IPS officer. Some of you might even wish to be a foreign service. So, why you wish to clear this exam, we have a positive attitude. Negative attitude, there may be some vested interest. But you should develop a positive attitude, a positive reason why you wish to clear this exam. Why so high target? Because you are going to attract, you are going to retain a lot of information that way. You can have a role model, but you need to have a positive attitude. Quickly, if your main goal had been to help the people around you, how you can build a personal relation with all the information is, like, take for example a homeless man or a family which doesn't have a house later, then think that if you had been in the administration, if you had been in the district administration, what schemes I can introduce it to them to help them build their own houses, pakka houses, to help them build a pakka toilet. Natra, kay subsidy like we have the Nasai higher na Awas Yosna higher toilet kilos much part higher. Then health benefit like we have this Ayushman Bharat ki scheme like tonight. We honorable CM issue like that. Sell the tank bang. CM can sell the tank bang like that. So, kaidawi mazi aduya health ki duda pusala seba Ayushman Bharat ki makhada Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana hai ne ka Ayushman Bharat ki makhada punjan grade the other part of akoi Ayushman Bharat ki scheme ki part amadi wellness center create to hai ne ka. It's not primary health center, it's not district health center, but wellness center hai ne ka. So it's about asai physical mental health maintain to no ba. So kai injali no sida hai ga Ayush ka mu isu asai okay, room mama provide to we need go. Some 10 lakh wellness center creator. So that's another part of the program. The other part being this health insurance key concepts is some 5 lakh benefit over when they recognized to work, centrally recognized to work hospitals in the Yana. Then see is so you have to think of the information as how to apply it to that person having concept. Whether that person is eligible or not has way. But Ayushman Bharat ki makala hoki Pradhan Mantri ki health benefit card that family should be included in the socio-economic caste census of 2011, one of the major criteria. So he should be an economically, socio-economically weaker section in a recognized 2011 census. So there had been many data adugi Pradhan Mantri hoji Ayushman Bharat ki makhada kondaba singdugi oina su amuk CM gi haksel tengbang launch to rese 2 lakh khatani dana amuk CM gi haksel tengbang dudi. So those nasai socio-economically the weaker but SECC hai ka socio-economic caste census aduda di chan haudraba singdugi oina nasai gi adu ngai le oira hadugi at least benefit card di piri dana. So Shumane associate to any scheme, any information you wish to remember, try to personalize it. This is one way of retaining information. Ultimately, it's a huge syllabus. Syllabus PA ka hai badiya riba. PPSC syllabus PA have the it's a huge. Kihan bagi wari shuna teba. I have to criticize what's all I have you worry. My job here is to provide solution to you how to make those huge syllabus manageable and how to manage it effectively, efficiently. So otherwise should personalize so information memory retained to have the kind of retained to if it is a recent thing, recent event, you'll remember. You'll remember. Game game the Punchi Karak King Murray. You have lived so many lives in just one night through your game, so you would have forgotten what you had 5 lives before God. That's right. So there may be some of you who already forgot what curry you had yesterday dinner, but most of us would know. But if you are asked 1 week ago, or exactly 1 week ago, what curry you had, or if you are asked 1 month ago exactly what curry did you have, you'll forget. We don't remember. Why? Because that's right. I'm unable to recall. At the moment, I'm unable to recall at the moment. So this is Saigi answer. Interview answer. Me I told you that I have with the Kanara. it's all about being cordial, being respectful. But anyway, see issues, your memory issues. So recent memory, you'll remember. When your information is personalized, like for example, if I tell you that, or if you remember that, 1 month ago exactly, you had a birthday party or something of someone, one friend, or another. You remember that you had such and such things, because that is a personalized information and it's kind of out of the ordinary. Yeah, got. What is it? Memory retain to retain. Now that you personalize or it can be an extraordinary event, like something like an earthquake which shook the whole Nangi Mapangi, Upamigi, Yumi Upambi, Matekagi, so extraordinary information, not memory, not emotional attachment, like you are common, the Vishay, Mayamalasi. Alright, but like cinema in cinema. Why so? Why so? This is society high though. Ultimately, the result the brain retains or remember the best when it is balanced. Balance balance. The right side left side give balance. Normally, we all have the same, more or less the same brain weight. The PE 1.3 average the brain weight they high, the PI 1.5 they high, but that 200 gram doesn't make much of a difference. 1.6 thousand not to discriminate or anything, but I'm just saying it's the way you use your brain. It's about the way you use your brain. That's the hardware. Hardware never do the Kyan Pazana Sina have the Nangi OS Hapa Machangi, OS to give Matak to the Nangi app on the Hapa Chandro. Not right. Yep, Hapa on Changida. Nangi phone to the calendar app yarn, dialer app yarn, messenger app yarn. Kai Shina Durigana phone, Shina Nina message timing but I are phone to me, but we are, of course, we all take it for granted because OS is uninstalled the way out of app on Yahweh when granted when take low one ever. Same hardware though, early man on the PO, the Sungam come to me and the PO, Sinabam Kangaroo. So it's exactly like your brain, similarities. Your brain is your hardware and your phone. So you need to have, you need to develop, install apps and IJK. You need to learn efficient ways of handling information, effective ways of retaining information. How you can do that is by the balance create. Uching mo pai buganda masana patana pai bakyam san pai. Of course, your morality is under question, but let's talk about the bird first. He can't fly much. Masanam has my pilot. Aeroplane nama Masanam my pilot. What's that? Engine nama. Engine nama is a pilot. Dunkirk the power by the Matanga pilot. So, by the way, crisis situation creates charismatic leaders. So it's a philosophy. Anyway, so you need a balance. What we usually do when we decide that we are going to study, like parni na kan Uganda, aina to isike na kana iPhone or AC or ito no naman phayo kraga aina kay do to para da ni pura keno da focus da para da mi ha na para hore na tra. I didn't minsan na yata mingo pa ako kada ina. Kaya na focus to gaya kada mingo pa ako le. Like to the mga thamani pratibhi koi rani hala ko the same pace do tum le maso we have a talent. We have a talent for sitting on the same page for 1 hour, 2 hours. for the whole day. We have a talent, we are all talented people. The World Guinness Book of Record. Every day we can break our own record. But issue is, the right side of the brain is about your entertainment, enjoyment, fun part, creativity part. The left side is your logical, rational thinking part. So what you do when you decide to close all those things, keep away from all those things, is you try to turn off the right side of the brain and focus only on using the left side, which won't last long. Maybe an hour. That's right. Like pani hair, the ising tamingani, ani, see a chang, mighty, Rulu, the way I talk like a power, oh, everything. Prativigi, Gani, except for that, like Paga, do not know. The one that he got those any Puma and the car. Then we go buying the swearing as this mom, the one singing, Mammy and Tokre Pumani in Adra. Yes, Matangishma, Japan, I don't want any minute. Mamma, tell me, get over here. Mamma, ranking physical. So for 1 hour of studying, you have spent 4 hours to recoup. Why this is happening is emergency landing solution you have to develop an interest. Example say for example, World Environment Day is a 5th June. But information exactly retained to say. We have gone the 5th June I own interpretation of appropriate developed using my creativity, my own we can create an extraordinary memory of I'll show you, but for example, like fundamental duties, fundamental rights, DPSP, ma'am, everything here, 1 class, 1 goal, I can make you remember. And that too in the same sequence as it is written in the Constitution. UPSC you in a direct but MPSC you in a sometimes preamble is also asked directly for fundamental rights. But we have take for example, let's take a scenario where you appear for an exam and when you are asked the fundamental duties directly all the fundamental duties has UPSC direct but MPSC but example that's right. So prepare the opposition, prepare the opposition Prekhasigi. Alright, 1, 2, I bet Manla, Anigo. Sometimes 3, 4, 5. 5 yokes of propaganda, this sequence, Kairanigo. After 5, 6, the rest is your own fundamental duties. You are going to create your own fundamental duties. Constitution give amendment P give a singular fundamental duties for a examiner to Nigerian issues. What happens is exactly even misplaced or but we can solve that. I can show you how to remember. Examples World Environment Day. Fundamental duties let's keep it for another day. So World Environment Day is a 5th June. World environment based. What if we associate the number, and this is how you can remember numbers very easily, phone number, someone number, it's something called as PEG system. And what we are going to do is associative learning, associated memory. So 5th June, the 5 numbers I already PEG system, I already will have associated with something, an object or anything. You can associate that object can be your beehive, because 5 rhyme to that. Another 5 has a tangon lower, so it can be a sickle for you. So let me take hive for now. Beehive logs. See that what mga ubosu ay upami mga kaya to usiya, but issue is na ninjan kita uga upami mga the issue uroy ka. Because it's a normal thing. You are trying to build an extraordinary memory. Now, 5 say na beehive low grade alaba. Hive to be the way. June has you can associate with someone whose name is June or anybody. We give Madam June from Madam you can associate it with it because they are into that line. So world environment is the mana. So you can associate like that. Beehive say environment protect so that 5 June World Environment Day will stick to your memory forever. So we have built a kind of an extraordinary memory out of a simple organic information. So this is how you remember. In that particular Hoziki, what do you do? We have used both sides of the brain. We have just spiked the efficiency of the brain for that particular information. And this is how you can remember how I can make you remember the whole fundamental duties in the exact same sequence, fundamental rights in the exact same sequence, fundamental DPSP in the exact same sequence. Which would have taken even a serious aspirant some 2-3 years to remember exactly. So you are going to leapfrog. Preparation to leapfrog the way provided you are able to use your brain efficiently. Aside app install to have to be what you to be significant. You are not told how to really learn. The education system of India or all over the world is such that it's more or less teaching centric. The teacher might have been teaching for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. He already knows, understands, nook and corner of the topic which he is teaching. But the focus should be on the actual learners, which is the student. So teaching should be student centric. Education should be overload. When you keep awake, so when you keep awake straight for 16 hours, the efficiency of your brain drops by 50%. It's very important to take power naps. Sleep cycle is very there are lots of things I can tell you, but we are limited by this span of 50. So we have something like half an hour in there. Okay, then I can go with that. Fire up so here I go. Super sign. So be prepared. So I'm going to bombard you. I'm going to brainwash you. So be prepared. There are many things which you can do to improve yourself. Ultimately, the same resource. You have only 2 real resources with you. One is your brain, the other is your time. The rest are all derivatives. One fine day when you have the opportunity, you can earn double of that. But the time you waste today, you will never get it back, not even a single second. And how effectively, how efficiently you use your brain also determines where you will be. So, how you use your brain, on what you use your brain, how you use your time, on what you use your time. These 2 things, brain and your time, is going to determine where you will be after a few years, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, depending on your nangi potential, nangi determination. Yeah, these are the two real resources you have. Each one of us have our own problems. You have to overcome that situation to the blame, though we have it to peer over. See, do over the problem, they do over while we are still alive, let's make the maximum of the time and resources we have. So you will be given ways through which you can improve, you can live from preparations. Any home jump ahead to level up to you will be provided ways. So this is where the guidance we as the guide are going to play a significant role in your preparation. Yeah, it's not just about information. You have to streamline your preparation. But let's say 10%, 20% of your preparation, though, effectively, you're going to save a lot of time. You will have more time to prepare the other topics. The topics 10%, 20%, fingertip and this way of remembering, the whole 25, 29, folk dances magi corresponding stage plot way I was set long power. And this is not mnemonics. Don't confuse this one or don't try to level it as mnemonics. This is much higher than mnemonics. Mnemonics to begin you can try mnemonics with those words which you are very familiar with. Like for example, bricks in the yard the country already MBBS pen Marathi letters in the mnemonics is a very rudimentary way of remembering, but this is much higher to that. The past 10, 15 years has been a research for me since my high school days on how to effectively retain information, how to information handling can effectively the brain capacities. For example, Swami Vivekananda, who was capable of remembering the whole Britannica encyclopedia of his time. There are people who had used or efficiently used their brain way beyond our capacity. 10%. Even the movies are saying that, so you should be knowing. We have movies like Lucy and two, three other movies also talked about it. They don't hate the you are given the hardware, but you are not taught how to effectively utilize it. This is the main concern. But once you are able to master the way of handling, because mind you, again, the syllabus is huge. You have to be able to revise the ones which are not all the information you can remember like this, because so part of the information, crucial information, remember and the beauty of this way of remembering, this associative learning system, it's like you can revise anytime. Brush filling also don't revise to be anywhere can be your study table, and you are going to enjoy remembering it. It's there forever. And once you remember, it's there forever. Worry to the information, the line up. Again, the beauty of this technique is you can remember backwards, forwards, any way you wish. Warise. Maning mamang chingba yaiba. Magi kenos. Prelims kumba the any information sumai phagi ukanda. Answer kai mangle damina. Question to the yard damina. Ade just wari the link up to load it. Hint to already one question to the yard. So it's about recollecting whether I have a story based on that information. That's all. Right, other the preparations. This is how we should handle information. Many of us are breaking, a coxibo and sometimes you don't nothing than those young. Said on the coke, the Kutonagatin and the other. In the other. In the day. The country and the other. I don't know. Anyway, jokes apart. So anyway, this is one way up. Then let me talk about another way up, which is quite popular. You basically preparation is circle the mind maps has. It's not a new thing now, but it was introduced initially 2012. The TED Talks, the TED Talks, the high give the hot item with that. And she hiding either. Let me tell you about this memory graph. Understand how your brain, how your mind functions. That way, because you are in for the long haul, you are going to be preparing. If you are really serious about preparing for UPSC, for MPSC, then you are in for at least 1 year, 2 year. You are in. Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you are doing something. If you are doing something or if you decide to do something, give it your 100% level. Otherwise, you are just wasting your time. This is a very important message. Do not do anything half-heartedly. If you are in, be in with 100% of your capacity, capability. Man can do what man has done. No other rocket ki propulsion invent to bhai na te na UPSC prakash hai. Mount Everest cars jo hai na te rawa. It's about consistency, it's about persistence. Nangi daily routine nama lai raga. Nang minor prepare to over the worry ni ka. So anyway, we have this. You have to learn to conquer. Learn to conquer. You may feel it's a huge syllabus, but you have to conquer. You have to take the baby steps. You have to take one step at a time. A journey of 1,000 steps. A journey of 1,000 steps is completed by taking one step 1,000 times. Understand the logic. Wordplay, but understand the way. So if you have a huge thing to conquer, break it up into smaller parts and try to conquer the smaller parts one at a time. So you syllabus break up you have to learn to conquer one at a time. Basic preparation. So let's say just short a few minutes. Let's say you read a new topic today. You read a new topic today, and let's assume it's not going to happen because 100% won't come already. Why then? But let's assume let X be the new one. Let's assume that you understood 100% of the topic that you have just read. So the memory, the retention graph, it just drops like this. 1 week Shurabuganda, you are going to retain something like 5 to 10% of the information that you read. Why is this happening? You have to learn to understand the brain, your functioning. Every second you are bombarded with information. You have 5 sense organs. 5 senses to be every second bombard of renewable information. And there may be the 6th sense, and the 7th sense is your own thinking God. 6th sense today like anyway, but 7th sense will be your own thinking God. A person, on average, a person wastes 60% of his lifetime thinking about the past and some about the future. 60% of a person's lifetime wasted on thinking about the past. What could have been, what if I had done this, what if I had done this, what if the situation happened this, I could have been at this, I could have been, oh, if my parents had supported me from the beginning, I would have been this. What if, God? What if? Only if, what if? Only if I was Shimao for later. So in all this, Saigi Langi Matam Zio, Canada, I Haktangi present have a moment. I know Zilay, I know Zito, whatever Tabak to the focus to the Vida, in a Mamangi Paski, Kongam the Roy, Mayam Pukatana, the scenario Mayama Shima, that the director, none way if this size is each and it's all. We try to director, we are all directors. The brain is so used to discarding away information that when we actually read a topic, we just discard it instantaneously. We are so good at it. Because 99% of the time we are discarding information. So reading a new topic, we just say, okay, so just discard it. So this is why the graph drops like this. Revision is one of the traditional way, and we should revise. Revision is one of the traditional way, and also if you practice it effectively, it's one of the best way to remember as well. But it requires frequent revision. Now, see, is the why I didn't revise a system of P gave up, and this is backed by actual research. I know see another topic. Grab the before sleeping. Within 24 hours, ideally they say 1 hour, but practically they go for 1 hour. Man, the revise no as you got. I the chain doing I live on Amsterdam. Zigtag you photo in it's not practical, so let's be more practical. So within before sleeping, so before sleeping within that 24 hours, if you can revise one day, not same 24 hours, revise to Biramba. Graph is right on 100 rise up the real. And it's going to go something down like this. But see graph down is the one day, the next day, the revise to Biramba. I'll tell you how to revise quickly as well, but revise on Biramba. Then 3 days for women, then 1 week, revise, then your retention becomes stable. 5 times revise minus C systems, the Kungsan easier horror. My God. We blue not a way than a rock. Anzana Laki, I'm blue not a one sang here. Oh, I am telling you, I'm saying that I don't give a thing a man or neither. To get a loom at a Vinama, the Tamtamna, and the legate or Piare. So there's lots of strategies. We can have a fine day talking about all of these things. But this is one of the way your revision needs to be done. The revision, I have a quote say, it's not about I'm not telling you to reread the revision is not rereading of the topic which you have read earlier. There has to be a specific way. When you read something for the first time, you have to learn to mark the key points. either by highlighter, by pen, directly underline. And again, you should not mark more than maximum the 10% of the page to give word to them. Give up on the habit of marking full sentences, not effective at all, not useful at all. Give up that habit. Only the keywords, or maybe a 2-3 group of words. Keywords to the the whole sentence to give meaning from keywords. Whole paragraph to give meaning carry to keywords. Your job is that. Example, see how is it? I know, suppose, let's say, for example, some function of labor. But a landmark, if I am visiting Ukrul for the first time, I need a landmark. Disregard those keywords are your landmarks for the particular topic. When you come back to revise, you are not going to read the whole paragraph, the line by line. You are just going to look at the keywords and try to think whether you can remember what had been mentioned earlier in the paragraph. If you can, fine and good, you just move to the next keyword. If you are unable to remember, read the full sentence, try to recollect. If you can recollect, you can move on to the next point. If you are unable to still recollect, then maybe read a previous sentence before and one sentence after. But you will be, some points you will have difficulties, some points you will remember. Then every time you come back to revise, carry that same game plan, game leader, like parts. This is how you remember very quickly and how you will be able to revise maybe like my 2 times, 3 times, such revise to and this mind map key concept introduced. This is the mind map. So see, the half of it is mind map. The rest are some notes. See, full. So public administration for Ibemhal IAS, I'm going to handle from beginning till the end. So everything, the whole paper 1, paper 2 will be dealt like this. See, only single side the same single side the same significance is because I can make easy comparisons between two topics. First thing on map, now on the Ibemhal area map, linear way the like it at the like but map so it's like that. A single topic, the way the brain functions. Branch out to concepts that mind map. Brain map, the branch out the keywords in the relation to a line, revise to and underline the whole topic it's in front of me, so I can make comparison what is there in the beginning, what is there in the middle, anywhere. Then you can have mind map for a topic, then another topic you can make comparison between the two. That's why it's only single sided. Then those mind maps which you find very important, you can pin it to your board for a few days so that you can have a look now and then. You don't have to read the whole chapter again. But you are given the bird's eye view, and then if I can link it up, all the key points with that, memory technique. It's a wonderful way to read or revise everything. Burden the line shift of now. So the basic static part, they want the full confidence learning. Now it's about linking up topics. Question number how the context relevant keywords to them. Concepts. So this is the way And you all have the capability. It's about determination, patience, you are in the leader prepared to watch it na khani ha you are in na te go the leader chalaga khalli do chatra individual do na khanan bane coaching do na khanan ban na te ha da. So here we can provide the environment to create the you will be given the opportunity of library in Krishnapatki Center, the period. And we are here to guide you everywhere. And maybe a top section to be a and you have device to be so anyway, preparation has a ultimate brainwash to determination yam changi ko nangi willpower maybe slightly I can motivate you, but ultimately you have to decide for yourself. Decision loba tamgalani ko chana. And when I talk about decision making as such, it's not about nangi wishful thinking do have na teba. It's not wishful thinking. Oh, by hand, Pumari don't not say, I never got comes to come here, Mazu Marin Kaita, you get Tolo Yava. You Marima target or Chatrina. The Tarina Maria give you significance on Masana to not to Gaija. You are teaching yourself not to follow the decisions you have made. I never see like Pani Hagadari. Small things matter. This is how you teach yourself self-discipline, and this is how you will succeed in life. Without self-discipline, success will just remain a dream. It will just remain like building castle in the air and have thin air. Discipline, nasai subasam dagi boss ki wari dagi hobi do. Discipline ji am maruwe. Aduna unrealistic hoy ba na ki target thamba no. A journey of 1,000 steps is completed by taking one step 1,000 times. Focus on that one step at a time. I hang kaito wadage have the pa. Focus to be. I hang history pani. That's why ethics, emotional intelligence, ethics, aptitude pani. So you should read those topics which you find difficult the first thing in the morning. Saying you eat your frog the first thing in the morning and haiba. Why another put you hana to why? See habit se form to we had RD. It requires a minimum of 14 days and you see that. Habit application it's a very strong memory. Nana chak char zena pukam do chak thang do pukan I could get a charger, oina charger, and I see the boy. Just wash your hands and start eating. It has become a very strong memory, nerve cell, brain cell, the signal though. No, the chak to auto response. Revision ki purpose is to adunika. The same information, the repeat to Shalaga, Ninjan the Vaya, the signal to Suntata, Kankalera, muscle building the Dunino. So it's like that, you have to build, understand your functioning though. Preparation, preparation, what pain you have. Imagine from class 1, like graduation about topper and top 3, average want to take a comparison though. Because that topper has been pushing himself or herself every time for every exam, so my limit to my mental barrier to the almost later whenever he believes that he can do anything or he can clear any exam. My confidence physically, mentally pushed over the same thing you can do, but the thing is you don't have the perseverance, patience later give up to it and then see him later say. See, she then got difference. The difference as I get lots. No other potential later, capability later. We all have the same brain capacity, but how you effectively utilize and how much willpower you have decides everything. Not only willpower built on our patience, built on our. There are many techniques as well. Self-hypnotism can be a way, auto-suggestion kind of. where you can force yourself to sit for the next 1 hour. There are ways, but you have to be conscious. You have to really decide that you really wish to crack the exam. NCERT ki foundation na koi na sida to isna ngasai noida foundation yung mama sa ade foundation link da ya de questions is sometimes directly NCERT da ki dum lak ko siya example the South India Tamil Nadu da sugarcane is a sugarcane industry or sugar industry is a very water intensive industry. Sugar cultivation che sing yam changi ba sing lai ta le thum moi hom noi ko chu se nai ba but sing monsoon dasu Tamil Nadu is a state when all over India we are having monsoon, it is not going to have any rainfall. Retreating monsoon namadi pi baneba. But despite that fact, the question is, why is the sugar cane cultivation or sugar industry evolving, not sugar growing much faster than the rest of India and Ohio? Answer underlying uncertainty irrigation. Irrigation facility topic to masa mo ina yaw NCERT directly question July but uncertainty elaborate or Kulargi like Kular is a person is an examiner or a mini geography optional, so he has a book in geography and so it's there exactly as whole paragraph, this much paragraph is there explaining the whole thing, but concept to the NCERT doesn't observe it. Maybe nangi 10 marker or 15 marker or fill down the answer to yawn the DI, but theme the topic to deal with that they don't come up to yaw. And NCERT the yaw answers the laying a rhythm because he's my NCERT the yaw UPSC will take it as the correct answer. So you need to begin geography yam kind of deeply chum the targasu 11, 12, 6 or so but 19 my paper the chat pani ko mo di 9 yaw the 11 da mo expand to my chat pani magi alternately hai ta ne so phajana na 12 of geography understand the guitar de you are I mean thorough with the basic guitar de build up the way are ko to phajana visualize to botam mo information especially geography or any other topic. When a novel what actually happens is we are actually living the character of the protagonist. Understand the realm. Somewhere you are going to assume that you are actually experiencing all those things that that particular character is experiencing. Visualize the word in a power. You read the word, you visualize something, creativity is not creator. So when you read a book, when you read a geography, when you read history, try to visualize the information, the actual, try to feel data as a word figure in a then quite difficult you have various techniques through which you can remember, you can build your own story. I have shown you the technique, how to make yourself, how to improve yourself. Now it is up to you, the onus is on you to utilize that. The basic responsibility of a student is to surpass his teacher. That's your main ultimate, my pai papa. Aina takil to be. Aina tayo po say my pai papa has a moi kyam here, get nothing on the hen, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle की generation. Final generation is Alexander the Great. Generation na peace har laga modno prithvi joy to bring na tholi ni rawa. So he has surpassed all his previous teachers. So anyway, so that is ngasagi NCERT की significance. या दुनिया का foundation overall ngasagi concept से. GS की पेपर लाख पर क्वेश्चन की लेवल से mid graduation, so graduate मक की सुना तभी then undergraduate मरक सर की 12 का graduation की मरक तो लेगा तो level ने वो optional papers इन अमुकर level on the चंग रेगा, क्या aduna tabida maraki dala kadamina so NCERT dagi nangi foundation do phajana clear to wadani. We are all here to guide you. Material have a put to use internet matam point pharmacy free upscmaterial.com telegram channel kya. The issue now is not the lack of information or the lack of material, but to streamline all those materials, not really information. We are too much bombarded. Material set you have to learn to say no to those materials. Aina pagiba masai sa chana so ha mo director na ha mo pagiba like sidane sum pa ko tam gadam ni ko extra dudi dum grab store kani koi mioi be hakchang skeletal framework to mal lai ga matong matham do magi matong happy ni nerves happy ni skin happy ni da. So you need to have the skeletal framework first. Kai de gila kani NCERT de gila kani keyword single topic amagi subject amagi maru oiba basic keyword sing dudi adudagi grasp tawidine banana adu laigra matungdadi matung hapchalakchano ama hapchalakchano lai hapchalakpa yani habnida. So this is why NCERT is very important and you should be thorough because adudayena laite na phajaba material adusu subject loinama ke punjalagana yaiba sisida noina engineering background la pa medical background la pa arts there is no such issue. Subject I have amba khaidori se kai dekhai no koi gi specialization like for example aine archaeological ki site to gi so aina research to ba geography ki so research to ba oi de na specialization yam deep la kan da di adugi damak ta khaido ki mane ba subject sing se they are all information na ta ni kai no information na ta na through categorization to this specialization by my line that so here develop research to I don't you know. But you the aspirant we should not discriminate between the subjects. We should not discriminate between the papers to the answer so we have to break barriers. Paper 1 answer, paper 2 answer. What is significant you have to write. The solution that is required you have to provide regardless of what paper it is. Adugi am kind of barrier like you go. I can understand those issues. Kangadani, I get the information to Kangadani. Hankadu questions in Jizu as a citizen of India, as a civil servant, I want the Kanga the work Mayam Duni, Namana Hankudis. I give life, the common man, give life, the effect of gain, pollution, solid waste management. So all Masagi, medium Punsina, India, economic growth, everything are related to the question which you should be knowing because you are aspiring to be a civil servant. Aduki India growth story to give part no more in a changi and a Kali Natro. They have a positive thinking to the Changi Seva interview about the for the time being, you have to be positive attitude. So stay with us. We'll show you a strategy. So many things which can be said, but for this duration, this is me trying to, you can say, motivate you, trying to show you the trailer for what's coming ahead in your preparation. That is if you are quite serious. Last day, hair to worry. It's not about the talented people saying drawback I demotivate demotivate in the sense they don't feel life is giving them enough challenges. Long run the hard work talent hard work because there is something called the 10,000 hour rule. I give brains uncle what subject no anything 10,000 hours approach to genius level something intuition na associate to Yeah, Bill Gates is one such example. Magi generation na mai chahim longa da ma dongna coding da yaita ne matam thadaru min late ko. That's why he is far ahead of the others. Mina ubangam da mana kinamo ubangam mi ba. Right? Si sa so sige talent se. So masai hai do 14 days adu na hari myan se. Haina do pot se na traga nangi suppose na line pa we have it se yam wine kanta di. First already na haina 14 days nam pu da 1 hour nam pu da untigi. So 14 days propaganda, it will become easier. A thing is difficult before it becomes easy. So you have to learn to develop the patience, determination. So anyway, if you have any queries, you may raise. Otherwise, we'll meet the next time. Kay kaning malay. Wow. So have a good day. See you again next time, and I hope you will maintain the same energy, the same motivation that you have right now for the rest of your preparation. All the best.